Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. Good morning, it's Thursday the 30th of March. The government is aiming for the UK to have the cheapest electricity in Europe by the year 2050.
Proposals being unveiled today want to cut emissions whilst reducing the UK's reliance on importing expensive fossil fuels. Here's our climate editor, Justin Rolat. Plans announced by the government to house thousands of asylum seekers at disused military sites have been met with opposition from local residents and historians.
RAF Scampton, home to the famous dam busters, is one of the places being considered as the Home Office tries to cut down on using hotels. John Donaldson reports. Pope Francis has spent the night in hospital in Rome, where he's being treated for a respiratory infection.
The government is expected to announce today it will not bring forward the date it's raising the state pension age to 68.
A review had raised the prospect of bringing forward this change from 2046 to the late 2030s. Let's find out why. Our chief political correspondent.
Time now is 11 minutes past 6. So we've got the weather with Carol coming up. A rather special day today. She's at the Butterfly House in Blenheim Palace for us this morning. Morning to you, Carol. What are we looking at there?
It's the jeopardy.
We're back with Carol later on, of course. It's just come at to 6:15 now.
Now, cancer treatment often means chemotherapy, or results in chemotherapy, which, of course, takes a huge toll on the body. Some patients, though, are being given it, although they don't need it.
Now, a new blood test that can detect cancer cells is being trialled at the Royal Marsden Hospital in London and means some bowel cancer patients who've had surgery may not need follow-up treatment. Our medical editor, Fergus Walsh, has this report.
18 minutes past 6. We'll be talking more about that story a little later in the programme. First, though, let's take a look at the papers. The Telegraph is... I wonder if they found the owner as well.
Why not?
Anything on the insides? I just want to mark Betty Boothroyd last. And at her funeral, and Patricia Routledge, the actor, gave a rendition of Climb Every Mountain.
Wow,
and yeah, and it was played as Betty Boothroyd's coffin entered the church, and it's just really fitting about what she's done in the world of politics. And you know, there were tributes paid to her in the House yesterday as well. But just to put into context, she's a Labour MP, and she shattered 700 years of parliamentary tradition, right? When she became the first woman to be elected Speaker in 1992. For 700 years, there had not been a female Speaker. And she did it. And there are very few who have a bad word about her. Born to mill worker parents in Dewsbury in West Yorkshire in 1929, she was a professional dancer.
Right, that is.
She was a professional dancer, and before going into politics, she was elected in '73. But she was buried yesterday, and glowing tributes paid to her. And I just think she's one of those people that we should just talk.
Yeah, quite right, because there are times when you absolutely should mark an entire life. You know, the rounded elements of how someone gets to a place and the mark they've had in the world we live in. So, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, time now is 6:22. Beavers hunted to extinction in England 400 years ago, but thanks to several conservation projects, they're making a comeback in recent years.
Now, a family of the rodents has been released in Staffordshire and is living happily in one of the largest enclosures in the UK. Liz Copper has more.
Young people in reading, isn't it? Just getting them to love the idea of reading, because sometimes that can just be a little spark that is lit at a moment in time by a person or a teacher or a parent or someone.
And it's not just being read to, because we're going to talk to a lady who's 90 who reads to children, and she just says, you know, it's not all about the reading, it's the conversations you can have just that come about as you're reading a story and how you connect. So, talking about that later.
Yeah, any moments, any memories, let us know. 6:25, that means it's time to get the news, travel and weather where you are.